The sun dips below the horizon, casting long shadows across the bustling central square. I'm walking my usual evening route, the weight of the day pressing down on my shoulders. The city hums with life, street vendors calling out their wares, children laughing as they chase each other, and the distant sound of traffic blending into a familiar symphony. 3 days, Mark, Sarah had said earlier that morning, her eyes reflecting determination. I need to finalize these contracts. It's important for the company. I nodded, though a knot of unease had been tightening in my stomach for weeks. Sarah's business trips were rare, but lately, her work had consumed her entirely. I tried to be supportive, but a part of me feared the distance growing between us. As I navigate through the throng of people, my phone buzzes. A text from Sarah, dinner at our favorite place tonight? Can't wait to see you. I smile, the tension easing momentarily. It's been a long day, and I'm looking forward to unwinding. I decide to take a detour through the central square, enjoying the vibrant energy. The air is crisp, the scent of street food wafting through. Lanterns are being lit, their warm glow adding magic to the evening. I navigate through the throng of people and dart between adults, their laughter infectious. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I spot her, Sarah. But something's off. She's standing near the fountain, but her demeanor is tense. 2 police officers are talking to her, their expression stern. My heart skips a beat. This isn't the Sarah I know. I push through the crowd, every step heavy with dread. As I approach, I catch snippets of their conversation. You were heading towards her house? With that plaid on, one officer asks, eyebrow raised. Yes. We thought it was a private matter, Sarah responds, her voice shaky. Panic surges through me. I reach her side, breathless. Sarah, what's going on? Why are you with the police? She turns to me, her face pale, clutching a plaid tightly around her waist. Mark, I can explain. Before she can continue, another woman steps forward, her lover's wife. It's true, she states, her voice cold. They were trying to sneak away. I saw everything. The realization hits me like a lightning bolt. Sarah had been lying about her business trip. Betrayal cuts deep, sharper than any knife. She looks at me, tears welling in her eyes, the plaid her only shield from the humiliating situation. I feel a mix of anger and heartbreak. How long has this been going on? I demand, my voice barely controlled. 6 months, Sarah whispers, tears streaming down her face. I never meant to hurt you. The crowd around us seems to blur as emotions surge. I turn away, struggling to process the sight before me, Sarah, vulnerable and exposed, both physically and emotionally. Back at home, the silence is deafening. I sit in the living room, the weight of betrayal pressing down on me. Memories of happier times flash through my mind, each one now tainted by deceit. I realize I can't let this go, I need to reclaim my life. I start formulating a plan. Sarah's infidelity has shattered our trust, and I'm determined to ensure she never undermines me again. I gather evidence, documenting every misstep, every lie. I reach out to friends and colleagues, building a case that will leave her isolated and powerless. The next steps are calculated and precise. I file for divorce, ensuring the process is swift and irrevocable. Financial assets are redistributed, and I make sure her reputation takes a hit in our social circles. Each action is a step towards reclaiming my dignity and peace. As days turn into weeks, the plan unfolds flawlessly. Sarah becomes a shadow of her former self, struggling under the weight of her choices. Meanwhile, I rebuild my life, focusing on healing and moving forward. One evening, as I walk through the same central square, the memories come flooding back. But this time, there's no shock, only a sense of closure. I glance around, ensuring I haven't missed anything, and continue on my path, leaving the past behind. Betrayal had nearly destroyed me, but in its wake, I found strength and resilience. The revenge I sought was not just against Sarah, but against the vulnerability I once felt. Now, I stand taller, wiser, and ready for whatever comes next. The days following the devastating revelation blur into a haze of anger and determination. I wake each morning with a singular purpose: to dismantle the life Sarah has built on lies and deceit. The city around me continues its indifferent hustle, unaware of the storm brewing beneath my calm exterior. I sit at my cluttered dining table, a map of Sarah's routine spread before me. Photographs, timestamps from her phone, and social media activity logs are meticulously pinned down. Each piece of evidence is a stepping stone in my intricate plan for retribution. "Mark, are you eating?" Jenna, my best friend and confidant, asks as she enters the apartment, holding 2 cups of coffee. I look up, offering a weary smile. "Yeah, just going over some things." She sets the cups down and sits across from me, concern etched on her face. "You've been like this since the incident. Maybe you should see a therapist." I shake my head. "I appreciate it, Jenna, but I need to handle this myself." Sarah needs to face the consequences of her actions. Jenna sighs, her eyes softening. "Just don't lose yourself in this. Revenge can consume you." I nod, appreciating her worry but resolute in my mission. "I won't. I promise." As the weeks pass, my plan begins to take shape. I start by contacting mutual friends and acquaintances, subtly planting seeds of doubt about Sarah's integrity. At social gatherings, I drop hints about her infidelity, watching as whispers ripple through our circle. The first signs of her social isolation appear almost immediately. One evening, I receive an unexpected call from Tom, a colleague of Sarah's. His voice is hesitant, almost fearful. "Mark, I heard about what happened in the square. I'm sorry you had to witness that." I mask my emotions, keeping my tone neutral. "Thanks, Tom. How's Sarah holding up?" There's a pause before he responds. "She's not doing well. Her reputation at work is taking a hit. People are distancing themselves." A smirk tugs at the corners of my mouth. The first phase is working. I continue to gather evidence, digging into Sarah's financial records and uncovering discrepancies that could be leveraged during the divorce proceedings. Each discovery fuels my resolve, transforming my initial heartbreak into a calculated vendetta. One afternoon, as I sift through Sarah's emails, I stumble upon a correspondence that could be my ace in the hole. Her affair isn't just a casual fling, it's deeply intertwined with her professional life. Her lover, Ethan, is a high-ranking executive at her company, and their relationship has been a carefully guarded secret. Realizing the potential fallout, I decide to confront Ethan directly. The next day, I arrange a meeting under the guise of wanting to discuss a professional matter. We meet at a quiet cafe, the atmosphere tense with unspoken animosity. Ethan arrives, his expression guarded. "Mark, what do you want?" I take a deep breath, maintaining eye contact. "I know about you and Sarah. I know everything." His facade cracks slightly, revealing a glimpse of panic. "This isn't what it looks like. We were trying to keep it professional." I lean in, my voice steady but cold. "Save it. I have everything I need to expose this to the board. You and Sarah are both finished." Ethan swallows hard, his eyes darting around the room. "Please, Mark. Don't do this. It will ruin us both." I stand, the decision clear in my mind. "I'm sorry, Ethan." It's too late for apologies. As I walk away, I feel a surge of empowerment. The next steps will ensure that Sarah's world unravels completely. Back at home, I draft a comprehensive report detailing their affair, complete with evidence that will leave no room for denial. I submit it anonymously to the board, watching as the ramifications begin to ripple through the company. True to form, the scandal erupts. News spreads like wildfire. Sarah is suspended pending an investigation, and Ethan faces immediate termination. The media catches wind of the story, turning our once respected names into fodder for tabloids and gossip columns. Invitations to social events dry up, replaced by curt, cold stares and whispered judgments. One evening, as I return from a late-night strategy session, I find a letter slipped under my door. It's from Sarah, her handwriting shaky and raw. "Mark, I never wanted it to end like this. I'm truly sorry. Please, let's talk." I stare at the paper, a mix of emotion swirling within me. Betrayal still stings, but so does the realization that my quest for revenge has reached a point of no return. I crumple the letter, the weight of my actions settling in. The final piece of my plan is the divorce. I hire a top lawyer, ensuring that the proceedings are swift and leave Sarah with minimal financial standing. During the hearings, I present the evidence methodically, watching as her facade crumbles before the judge and our community. The final decree is swift: divorce granted, assets divided, and her reputation in tatters. As the courtroom doors close behind me, I feel a sense of closure beginning to take root. The immediate threat is neutralized, and Sarah is left to navigate the wreckage of her own making. Yet, deep down, I know this isn't the end. The web of betrayal has deeper threads, and the true extent of the intrigue is yet to be uncovered. Don't do this. I sit alone in my now silent apartment, reflecting on the path I've taken. Jenna joins me, her presence a comforting reminder of the support I still have. "You did what you needed to, Mark," she says softly. "But remember, you don't have to do this alone." I nod, a faint smile breaking through the exhaustion. "Thanks, Jenna. Maybe it's time to start rebuilding." As I stare out the window at the city lights, I realize that while revenge has provided momentary satisfaction, healing lies in moving forward. The journey ahead is uncertain, but for the first time in weeks, I feel a glimmer of hope. Unbeknownst to me, the true depth of Sarah's entanglements is just beginning to surface. Secrets long buried start to emerge, hinting at a more intricate and dangerous game at play. The intrigue that underpins our lives promises that the story is far from over, and the shadows of betrayal still loom large on the horizon. The weeks following the divorce are a whirlwind of emotions and strategic maneuvers. I wake each morning with a renewed sense of purpose, determined to ensure that Sarah faces the full weight of her betrayal. The city around me continues its relentless pace, oblivious to the personal war brewing in its heart. Today, I sit in my home office, the room meticulously organized to serve as the nerve center for my retribution plan. Multiple screens display various social media accounts, financial records, and communications, all pieces of the puzzle I'm determined to complete. The quiet hum of my computer is the only sound, a stark contrast to the chaos of my thoughts. My phone buzzes, pulling me from my concentration. It's Jenna, my steadfast friend. "Hey, Mark. How's it going?" Her voice is warm, tinged with concern. I take a deep breath, leaning back in my chair. Working on the next phase. Found something interesting in her financials: unexplained transfers to an offshore account. Jenna pauses, her voice soft. "Be careful, Mark. This is getting deeper than you thought." I nod, though she can't see me. "I know. But I can't stop now. There's more to this than just an affair. I feel like I'm uncovering something bigger." Before she can respond, another notification pops up, a calendar reminder for a meeting with Ethan's former business partner, Laura. She's a key player who might hold the final pieces of evidence needed to expose the full extent of Sarah's deceit. I grab my coat and head out, the brisk autumn air invigorating my resolve. The city central square is already lively with evening activities, but I navigate through it with a singular focus, eyes scanning for any sign of danger or unexpected developments. I arrive at Laura's office building, a sleek glass structure that reflects the fading sunlight. Taking a deep breath, I enter the lobby and make my way to the elevator. As the doors close, my phone buzzes again, an anonymous message flashing on the screen. "Stop digging, or there will be consequences." A chill runs down my spine, but I push the fear aside. This is bigger than just Sarah and me now. There are unseen forces at play, and I need to uncover them to fully reclaim my life. The elevator dings, and I step into Laura's office, a modern space filled with the hum of productivity. Laura is already there, seated behind a large desk cluttered with papers and a laptop. She looks up as I enter, her expression guarded but curious. "Mark, please, have a seat," she gestures to the chair opposite her. I take a seat, feeling the tension in the room. Laura, thank you for meeting with me on such short notice. She nods, leaning forward. I assume you have something important to discuss. I slide a folder across the desk, opening it to reveal a series of documents and photographs. I've uncovered financial discrepancies in Sarah's accounts. Transfers to offshore entities, unexplained expenses. It goes beyond a personal affair, there's corporate misconduct involved. Laura's eyes narrow as she reviews the materials. This is serious, Mark. If what you're saying is true, it could topple the entire department. I meet her gaze, unwavering. I need your help to expose this. You have connections and access that I don't. Together, we can bring this to light. She hesitates, the weight of the situation evident in her eyes. If we do this, there's no turning back. Sarah's influence is extensive. Are you prepared for the fallout? I nod firmly. I have to be. She destroyed my life once, I won't let her do the same to anyone else. Laura sighs, then reaches out to shake my hand. All right, Mark. I'm in. Let's take her down. As we leave her office, a sense of camaraderie and determination binds us. The path ahead is fraught with danger, but together, we're a formidable force. Back at home, I pour myself a glass of whiskey, the amber liquid swirling in the glass reflecting my turbulent emotions. Jenna arrives, her presence a comforting anchor amidst the storm. How did it go? She asks, concern evident in her voice. I recount the meeting with Laura, outlining the new layer of corporate deceit intertwined with Sarah's personal betrayal. Jenna listens intently, then places a reassuring hand on my shoulder. This just means you're getting closer to the truth. But be careful, Mark. There are people who won't hesitate to protect their interests. I nod, appreciating her wisdom. I know. But I can't back down now. The following days are a flurry of activity. Laura and I collaborate closely, pooling our resources and contacts to build an airtight case against Sarah and her accomplices. We uncover a network of corruption that spans multiple departments, each discovery more shocking than the last. One evening, as I sift through a particularly damning set of emails, my phone rings. It's Ethan. Mark, we need to talk. His voice is strained, tinged with desperation. I consider ignoring it, but something compels me to answer. Fine. What's this about? There are things you don't understand. Sarah is involved in something much bigger. Please, meet me at the old warehouse on 5th Street tomorrow night. I'm wary, but curiosity gets the better of me. All right. I'll be there. The next night, I arrive at the decrepit warehouse, the moon casting long shadows across the abandoned structure. Ethan is already there, pacing nervously. Mark, thank you for coming, he begins, his voice shaky. There are things you need to know about Sarah, and about me. I listen as he reveals the depths of the corporate corruption, implicating higher-ups who have been using Sarah and Ethan as pawns in their schemes. The revelation is staggering, painting Sarah not just as a deceitful wife, but as a key player in a much larger, more dangerous game. As Ethan speaks, the pieces start to fall into place. The anonymous threats, the intensifying pressure, and now this explosive information, it all ties back to the same source. Someone powerful is pulling the strings, ensuring that Sarah remains loyal and silencing anyone who tries to expose the truth. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoes through the warehouse. I turn to see two figures emerging from the shadows, their intentions clear in their stern expressions. End of the line, Mark, one of them says, stepping forward. You should have left well enough alone. I stand my ground, my mind racing. Who are you? What do you want? Before they can respond, Laura arrives, having followed me after sensing something was wrong. She positions herself between us, her presence a shield. Back off. You're not going to intimidate us. The leader snarls, taking a step closer. You have no idea what you're dealing with. I feel a surge of adrenaline, the stakes higher than ever. I know enough to stop you. A tense standoff ensues, the air thick with unspoken threats. Just as it seems the situation might escalate, sirens wail in the distance, growing louder. The figures exchange glances, then retreat into the darkness, melting away into the night. Breathing heavily, I turn to Ethan and Laura. We need to move quickly. They won't stop until they get what they want. Ethan nods, his earlier fear replaced by determination. I can provide more information, but we have to act now. As we leave the warehouse, the gravity of our mission settles in. This is no longer just about personal revenge, it's about exposing a web of corruption that threatens to consume us all. The intrigue deepens, each revelation pulling me further into a labyrinth of deceit and danger. Back at home, I reflect on the night's events. The path I've chosen is fraught with peril, but the truth demands to be uncovered. Jenna visits, bringing a sense of normalcy amidst the chaos. You're taking on some powerful enemies, Mark, she says, concern etched on her face. I meet her gaze, resolute. I have to. For my sake, and for everyone else they've hurt. She reaches out, squeezing my hand. Just promise me you'll stay safe. I nod, the weight of her words grounding me. I promise. As I prepare for the battles ahead, I realize that revenge has transformed into something more, a quest for justice. The threads of betrayal are unraveling, revealing a tapestry of corruption that demands to be exposed. The intrigue of the main plot thickens, and with each step, I become more entangled in the dangerous game that Sarah and her allies have orchestrated. The journey is far from over, and the shadows of betrayal continue to loom, but I'm no longer walking this path alone. With Laura's inside knowledge and Ethan's revelations, the pieces are aligning for a final confrontation. The stage is set, and the true battle for redemption and truth is about to begin. The night air is thick with tension as I stand on the rooftop of the corporate skyscraper, the city sprawling beneath me like a sea of lights and secrets. Every breath I take is a reminder of the path that led me here, a path fueled by betrayal, anger, and an unyielding desire for vengeance. The culmination of weeks of meticulous planning is about to unfold, and there's no turning back now. Laura and Ethan are beside me, their faces etched with determination. We've uncovered enough to bring down not only Sarah but the entire network of corruption that's ensnared us both. The evidence we possess is explosive, and the timing couldn't be more critical. Are you sure about this, Mark? Laura asks, her voice steady but eyes betraying a hint of worry. Once we start, there's no stopping. I nod, gripping the folder that contains the final pieces of our plan. I have to see this through. For everything she's done. Ethan glances at us, his expression conflicted. If we go through with this, there's no guarantee we'll all make it out alive. They're powerful and ruthless. I meet his gaze, unwavering. I'm not afraid anymore. It's time they pay for their sins. We descend the fire escape silently, the city's nocturnal sounds masking our movements. The target is clear, the main office where Sarah and her cohorts have established their stronghold of deceit. Inside, they believe themselves untouchable, protected by their ranks and the facade of legitimacy. As we approach the building, the gravity of our mission settles over me. This isn't just about personal revenge anymore, it's about dismantling a corrupt empire that has caused immeasurable harm. Every step forward is a step deeper into the heart of darkness, but my resolve remains unshaken. We slip into the lobby, bypassing security with the access codes Laura provided. The corridors are quiet, the only sound our synchronized footsteps echoing off the marble floors. Reaching the central office, we find the door ajar, the dimly lit room revealing the silhouettes of key players engaged in late-night discussions. Here it is, I whisper, holding up the folder. This is the proof they need. Before we can act, Sarah steps into view, her face a mask of surprise and fury. Mark. I didn't expect you to. Cut the crap, Sarah, I interrupt, my voice cold and controlled. It's over. She backs away, eyes darting to her associates who begin to close in. You have no idea what you're dealing with. I take a step forward, the folder now in my hand. Oh, I do. And I'm here to expose everything. Before I can continue, the room erupts into chaos. The corrupt executives scramble, pulling out phones and reaching for weapons. It's clear they're not going to let us take the evidence without a fight. Laura moves swiftly, pulling out a stun gun and disabling 2 of the men advancing towards us. Ethan, despite his earlier reservations, stands his ground, his eyes locked on Sarah. "This ends tonight," he declares, his voice steady. Gunshots ring out, the sharp crack slicing through the tense atmosphere. I duck behind a desk as bullets ricochet off the walls, adrenaline surging through my veins. The fight is intense, each blow and maneuver a testament to our desperation and determination. We move with a lethal precision, every action calculated to neutralize the threat without unnecessary violence. Sarah, cornered and desperate, makes one final plea. "Mark, please. Don't do this. Think about what you're becoming." I rise, facing her with a mixture of sorrow and wrath. I'm becoming someone who won't let betrayal go unanswered. With a swift motion, I throw the folder at her feet, the contents scattering across the floor. "This is your legacy, Sarah. Your downfall." She kneels, tears streaming down her face as she sifts through the evidence. The truth laid bare for all to see, her lies, her deceit, the network of corruption that connected us all. The room falls silent, the weight of her actions pressing down on everyone present. As the authorities arrive, summoned by the chaos we created, the remaining corrupt executives are apprehended, their power crumbling in an instant. The sirens wail in the distance, growing louder as justice begins to take its course. In the aftermath, as we stand amidst the wreckage of what once was, a heavy silence settles over us. The mission is complete, but the emotional toll is undeniable. Sarah is taken into custody, her reign of deception finally ended. Laura places a hand on my shoulder, her eyes reflecting a mix of relief and exhaustion. "It's done, Mark. We did it." Ethan steps forward, his voice breaking the silence. "I'm sorry for everything, Mark. For what I did." I shake my head, the bitterness still fresh. Sorry doesn't change what happened. We can never forget the betrayal. He nods, understanding the finality in my words. Maybe in time, we can heal. But for now, it's best we part ways. I watch as Ethan walks away, his figure fading into the night. Laura remains beside me, a steadfast presence in the whirlwind of our actions. We've accomplished what we set out to do, but the cost is etched in our hearts. As dawn breaks, casting a pale light over the city, I stand alone on the rooftop once more. The journey of betrayal and retribution has reached its conclusion, but the scars it left behind are a testament to the darkness we faced and the lengths we went to overcome it. The city awakens below, unaware of the final chapter that played out in its shadows. I take a deep breath, the cool morning air filling my lungs, and let go of the past. The hatred that fueled my revenge has transformed into a hardened resolve to move forward, leaving the ghosts of betrayal behind. In the end, the true deception wasn't just Sarah's affair or the corporate corruption, it was the illusion that revenge could ever truly heal the wounds of the heart. As I watch the sunrise, I realize that the only path to redemption is through forgiveness, not of others, but of myself. With one last glance at the horizon, I turn and walk away from the rooftop, the weight of my actions finally lifting. The journey is over, and though the pain remains, I'm ready to embrace a future untainted by the shadows of yesterday. The city continues its endless dance, and I step into the light, leaving behind a story of betrayal, revenge, and the hard-earned peace that comes from letting go.